For as long as Ostara's rest in Asgard was defended by the Yule Father's great spear and the watching eyes of Heimdall, so was this gift of service repaid with a similar service. As the Allfather's Yuletide duties caused him to gift the good children of the world, it fell upon him to make sure they remained good during the year. As Ostara's bunny was idle during his mistress's sleep, he was not only free to serve, but because he loved children, and he was so full of energy through the long winter months, he was actually dying to help. So did Father Yule, great Odin himself, ask the Easter Bunny, seek out the good boys and girls on Mother Frigga's list, and see that they're still keeping the peace, listening to their parents, working hard, and not attempting to sell their siblings on eBay. With a nod and a dash, the bunny sped across Asgard, blew right past startled Heimdall's legs, past 2 incoming Valkyries, but they're used to such things and frequently spoiled the bunny with snacks anyway. He skidded down the Rainbow Bridge and into Midgard. Time was short, for Ostara wakes soon, and the world was broad, so he'd best be on the hop. Down in Midgard, the pace of life was slower, and the upcoming holiday at Easter had the children of the boarding school all busting to go home, at least those with homes to go to. One little girl named Ilsa. She was an orphan, and although her aunt and uncle loved her dearly and saw to her needs, they were abroad during the Easter season, and so at school she would have to stay. While it was a touch boring alone at the school, some of the staff still remained with work to do, so she was free to roam the whole of the school and even lend a hand in the kitchen, for the cook was always ready for little hands and had special treats to reward them. The rain was hammering all of northern Scotland, so Ilse had to spend the whole day indoors. The cook had gone home as they repainted the kitchen, so Ilse didn't even have work to do to keep her amused. So Ilse was lying in the halls, singing to the echoes of her own voice, and being bored to tears when Ostara's bunny finally found her. His magic was strong, from Ostara herself, and he passed through the walls like a hand passes through smoke. His magic was set to keep him from all eyes, so he watched her unseen as she sighed. Although he was ageless, he was still young at heart. He knew the sweet little girl was alone for far too long. Like this sweet child, he alone often waited. His sleeping mistress slept all winter long, and he waited beside her and got so bored. Unlike her, he was free to roam across Asgard to get in and out of trouble, knowing that he shouldn't, but knowing that he would. Ostara's bunny let his magic drop, let his magic unveil him until he stood boldly before her. Ilse just lay there in startled surprise as a bunny popped out right in front of her eyes. The bunny hopped up and touched her wee nose, then dashed to the corner. He spun and he froze. He waited for Ilse to rise and to run, let her get close, then took off at the run. All through the halls up the stair did they race. Her laughter and shrieks sang the song of the chase. He hopped and he bopped till she ran herself out. Then he hopped on her lap when she collapsed on the floor. Laughing and stroking her floppy-eared friend, Ilse asked shyly if she'd see him again. With a flick of his tail and the wink of his eye, the bunny patted her nose and took off through the wall. Ilse sat startled to see how he left. The brick walls were solid, really quite thick. Ilse decided her friend had been magic, and magical bunnies were not all that common. She thought and she thought, and she thought of the season. Then she knew the bunny had hopped for a reason. Ostara's bunny himself it had been. Quite an honor just to be seen. What a treat for Easter's own bunny to stay through the whole afternoon asking only to play. A gift for a gift was the way of all friends. So what gift could she make? And how could she send? Ilse asked of the cook, and the old woman laughed, for she took it as fancy. Still, the cook did tell the story, as she knew it, of the gift of eggs to Ostara, called Easter. Ilse begged and she pleaded, and the cook, she soon melted. Pots were set forth for white eggs to be boiled. Boiled and dried, her eggs were prepared, but now how to wrap them? Ilse fluttered and fretted, for the classrooms were closed. No wrap, no sparkles, no ribbons or glue. How was she to wrap them? What could she do? She wanted her gift to be beautifully wrapped, a way to say thanks to her floppy-eared friend. To the cook she now came with her eyes all in tears, and the little old lady took heed of her fears. "Now the wrap," said the cook, "is to make them look bright. Well, that we can do, and do it upright." With her dyes and her inks did she teach the sweet tot how to paint up her eggs, how to brighten them up. Happy at last, Ilse was painting. Each egg was a tiny wonder in the making. Come the night she stowed her basket of eggs, brightly painted she left them for her bunny companion to find. Now Easter was come, and Ostara had wakened. Her bunny was hopping, quite joyful to see her. Her bunny beside her she strode through the world, bringing spring to the Northlands and joy in the season. When she crossed old Scotland, her bunny was distracted. She asked if there was something the matter, explaining quite quickly about his indiscretion. He feared he would anger his newly waked mistress. Smiling instead, Ostara did laugh. She asked to be taken to see Ilse herself. Ostara and Bunny did come to the school just for a visit, because they had much to do. Ostara's bunny saw Ilse's beautiful Easter gift. He was struck not just speechless, but hopless as well. Ostara laughed to see her friend's distress, and as he looked at her and begged for her help, she already had a thought. "Your friend gives you thanks for a day of play, but you know we can't tarry on this Easter day. We have a world to waken and spring to bring forth. But we cannot leave her lonely, of course." "A gift and a game," was Ostara's answer. Ostara's bunny thought the idea was just splendid, and began to hide eggs everywhere unattended. He hid them in corners and under old socks. He hid them in stairwells and old coffee pots. He hid them so his friend could seek them all day, a gift for a gift, and all day to play. Ostara just laughed him and seemed quite amused. "Darling," she said, "let me make one small change, for young girls are different from both you and I." Ostara drew a breath. Softly she sighed. Twinkling surrounded the eggs in their hides. Ostara's bunny was curious and hopped right on over. The egg was now chocolate and sparkled all over. Knowing his mistress had got it quite right, he hopped off with a chuckle into the dawn's light. Around the world they worked Ostara's will, bringing spring through the harsh winter chill. When sweet Ilse awoke, she was amazed to discover the glittering egg in a sparkling wrapper. Knowing the gift was from her floppy-eared friend, she opened it quickly and found her surprise. This egg was of chocolate. What a treat! As the light filled her room, she discovered two more, then out to the hall where she met him before. Taking her basket, she filled it right up with eggs made of chocolate from hide-and-go-seek. Word of this wonder spread through the school when the students returned, and they thought it was cool. Now every Easter the children remember and honor Ostara and Bunny together, as once long ago we greet the spring, but now done with chocolate the whole world over.